instability of the market itself is probably one of the biggest challenges. Second to that is probably the regulations. There's a ton of regulations, and it makes it very difficult and very expensive.
I've spoke to a few different commercial fertilizer outfits where, no, they'll just like if you're too drunk at a bar, they just refuse the right to serve you, and that's that. Just for the fact that I was a legal recreational grower, no, they just preferred not to.
As a veteran farmer, I've seen the struggles of the producers in the market since 502 came online. We see licensees going out of business weekly. And in order to repair that, we need a commission to support the agricultural product of cannabis.
A commission would allow cannabis growers to put together a significant pool of money to fund research, to do things like improve pest management, improves yield quality, reduce cost of production. It would allow for training on food safety. Again, if there ever was a group of folks that needed some access to research dollars or funding for projects, it's cannabis growers.
We need the Cannabis Commission because we need to pool our resources and turn the state into a giant cannabis farm where we learn from everybody's experience and we are able to afford good research and go in there and actually get scientific data that tells us what's the right thing to do at the right time.
If we have a Cannabis Commission, it's like a quasi-government agency that is the voice of cannabis, right? It lets the government know, it gives them one solid place that they know and trust to come and talk about cannabis and say, hey, what do you think about this, or what do you think about that?
In the past, the data shows that once an agricultural commission is formed, that the small farmers are able to better sustain a better price for their commodity. Their commodity improves in quality, and that it's a way for farmers to better prosper.
One of the commissions that I administer did a study about 8 years ago, and they looked at the amount of dollars that was spent on research and did the calculations on the economic benefits. And we were able to calculate that for every dollar spent on research, there was $100 return on investment. Now, there is no guarantee that that would happen in cannabis, but it's almost certainly guaranteed that there will be a very big, significant return on investment on research.
Concerns about a commission is like, oh my gosh, it's gonna cost more money. Well, we've figured out the numbers, and the numbers are pennies per pound.
Basically what's going to happen is, yeah, we're all going to pay something. It's going to cost us all a relatively small amount, 0.1% or less, to fund this. And it's not that much money for any one farmer, but in the aggregate, it will add up to a substantial sum, which will allow us jointly to decide what to fund.
A cannabis commission is a state agency. The attorney for the commission is Attorney General's office. The Department of Ag, Liquor Control Board would be parallel entities. We would have standing.
Instead of having 1,300 scattered farmers all over the place, we'll have this one entity that all of the farmers' voices are able to sit on the board. They're able to be part of this, from small tier 1s, tier 2s to the large tier 3s, and we can really have an impact in the government and get some of our knowledge across to them so that they make intelligent policy and regulations for us.
And it will represent Washington State's cannabis industry on all levels of government, from local to federal. And we will be the first in the entire nation to have a cannabis commission.
We have the opportunity right now to be number one. We can be the first in the nation to establish a cannabis commission. We'll be ahead of Colorado, we'll be ahead of California, Michigan, Minnesota, you name it. All the rest of the states that are coming on board, they're going to be late to the party because we got it started.